Well, a standoff between so-called sanctuary cities and the incoming Trump administration heating up right here in Chicago. Now, on the campaign trail, Donald Trump promised mass deportations of millions of undocumented migrants. He promised to close the southern border with Mexico and to end birthright citizenship. He's also threatened to withhold funding from sanctuary states. Now, Chicago's mayor vows the city will continue to shield all migrants in spite of Trump's threats.
The incoming administration is not just a threat to Chicago, but a threat to what is sensible about this country. And as mayor of the city of Chicago, we're not going to bend or break or cower to someone's threat. We're going to stand up and unite around our shared values, and they have my assurance that I'm going to protect the families of this city.
All right, so since late 2022, more than 51 million migrants have come into Chicago, and the city has spent more than $574 million to house, feed, and care for them. So joining...
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Friendship Pearson, and welcome to my channel. It is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, November 20th of 2024, 9:19 in the a.m. Let's say it together. Praise our God from whom all blessings flow. If I told you I wasn't bothered by the information I'm going to bring you, I'd be lying. So I'm going to give it to you straight. We have an enemy from within. We have an enemy from within. People, you ever had that situation where you wanted to salvage some things, and the more and more you got into it, the more you realize you got to throw the whole thing out? It might not be my best choice of words, but people, the old saying of one bad apple don't spoil a whole bunch, girl. That was Michael Jackson's hit back in the day. Our government, and I am so hurt that I had to stop doing research this morning. I was so touched by the research that I was doing on the violence and the gangs, how they are literally merging and emerging and networking throughout America. If you don't think this is one aspect to try to take America down, I suggest you get off your empathetic and sympathetic mindset and understand there is a segment of illegals that are not playing with us. They are not here to just assimilate into our society. They are not here to cooperate with law enforcement and the laws and the policies. Their goals and objective is street gang activity, which includes drugs and the male-female blank trade. We're going back to the beginning of how it used to be in our major cities in the streets, where the cities had to gut it out. The Donald Trump administration is a blessing, and we need to continue to keep it as a blessing. Because if we had let Kamala and Biden stay in there, I am convinced we were developing a wild, wild west atmosphere. This is just not a regular operation. It has become very sophisticated, lethargic. They plan. Someone's supplying them with everything they need to cause terror, to gradually take over certain parts of certain big cities, and they're mobilizing. At some point, they will network throughout all of our 50 states if we don't get a handle on it. So we need an administration that will come in and gut it out. Now, what I said from the beginning, you know, you got something in life where you think you can salvage a few things, people. This is one of those situations where everybody's got to go. Everybody's got to go. I did some research about a month ago where you had regular immigrants who set up businesses where they're terrorizing those who are trying to be legal and do legit business. And the gangs are coming to them and let them know you can't operate without giving me a payment for rent, so to speak. This is how Chicago and other big cities used to work with the mafia. If you're going to operate, then you got to give me a portion of your sales to exist. When I tell you there's a loosely knit takeover with a plan, I am not playing with you. We got to run for office. We got to take these offices. We have got to restore law and order. And every last one of them have got to go. We live in an era of mass communication, social media, and as long as they got phones and an internet, and they know these cities now, then look, people, they've been here for a few years, like here in Chicago, they've been here for 2 years. They're mapping out. They know these cities. And they already had a lot of them, friends and family. So they know where to hide out. So when I brought to you a few weeks ago when the head of Homeland Security and others are getting together through Donald Trump, saying they're gonna gut out the bad guys first, trust me, we gotta back them. We gotta back them because your city is not going to be safe next summer if it's safe right now. You go to church on Sunday morning, you come back that afternoon, your house is ransacked. They have nothing to do with their time other than the plot and scheme. And we don't need that type of disorder because that will lead to lockdown and more measures against us. You know good and well this thing was allowed to happen. Anybody with any common sense would know this is not how you assimilate people. That's why we had a immigration policy in place. And you have to work it as such, and you have to screen. If you don't, this is what you get. And what is this? Let me show you. Here's my dear friend, Nick Shirley. He just did a video yesterday. And he was in New York. And he says, I confronted dangerous migrant gangs in New York City. Now, I want to read this to you before I forget about it. You got people here, listen to this. This makes at least the Little Devils 11th arrest since April. Yet he's still free to roam the streets and to stay at taxpayer-funded shelters. And he's just one of about 20 asylum seekers, minors, in Los Diablos, the devil of 42nd Street, whose crime center on Times Square. This particular Diablo has been cuffed for multiple first and second degree robberies, stealing phones and chains on the streets and in subways. And you've probably seen the reports where they get the scooters and they're snatching people's purses and bags. And again, they're being arrested and they get right back out. And the gangs are utilizing young people, 14, 15 years old. And even the older ones that are doing it. Devil on the Street has been arrested 11 times and released. People, this spells a takeover. There's no nice way to put it. Listen.
Each time,
Did you see that? I'm gonna blow it up. I want you to see it. I want you to look at the eyes, okay? I'm gonna get rid of the volume. But of course he's emulating a shoot 'em up. Look at it. This is what's going on. I want you to look at his eyes because I want you to feel the spirit. This is deep, people. I've never done a video like this before when it came down to immigration. I've talked about it. But if you don't sense the spirit here, I don't know what else to tell you. There is a spirit out here, okay? There's an antichrist spirit here. Watch this.
So is it true that gangs are inside of the Roosevelt Hotel? This is me confronting a group of Venezuelan migrants who are potentially dangerous gang members of the gang Tren de Aragua outside of the Roosevelt Hotel in New York City. The Roosevelt Hotel is a government-funded migrant shelter for migrants to live once they cross the U.S. border and find themselves in New York City. It has been said that now the Roosevelt Hotel is the center for this Venezuelan gang to operate and recruit new members. And some of these new...
Paid to pray, migrant youth, gangs terrorize Times Square from city-funded shelters. And look at what they have here. Look at what he's saying. The Diablos are recruited from within the shelters, primarily the Roosevelt Hotel in Midtown, which serves as the intake center for the flood of migrants who have entered the city since 2022. Recruited by adult Tren de Aragua's members, newly anointed gangbangers as young as 11 are dispatched to wreak havoc, often getting a slap on the wrist because of their age. In 2018, state lawmakers implemented the raise the age statute, which increased the age of criminals responsible to 18. Do you see what the legislators are doing? Prior to the law, teens as young as 16 could be automatically charged as adults. Do you understand when I say takeover of a government? Okay, people? The following year, the legislature in Albany began passing a series of criminal justice reforms that barred judges from setting bail for suspects in most crimes, save for a handful of violent felonies. I'm telling you, people, it's off the chain. Now let me go to this portion here. We're gonna go through this thing bit by bit. And again, I want you to see this guy's eyes. This is serious.
Oh, yo hablo español.
¿Tú hablas español?
Sí, sí, obvio.
Yo no hablo español tampoco.
Okay, I speak English. So is it true that gangs are inside of the Roosevelt Hotel? ¿Es la verdad que bandilleros están adentro?
I speak in English, bro.
Oh, ¿es la verdad que bandilleros viven adentro de Roosevelt? ¿O no? Ah, ok. No quiere... Estamos... ¿Está bien? Ya, cuídense, amigo.
Did you see that? Let's do it again. I want you to sense the spirit, because I sense a spirit here, people. It's just not a regular interview. I want you to sense the spirit. Look at his eyes.
Oh, yo hablo español.
¿Tú hablas español?
Sí, sí, obvio.
Yo no hablo español tampoco.
Okay, I speak English. So is it true that gangs are inside of the Roosevelt Hotel? ¿Es la verdad que bandilleros están adentro?
I speak in English, bro.
Oh, ¿es la verdad que bandilleros viven adentro de Roosevelt? ¿O no?
Did you see that change? That's unnatural. Did you see that change? I'm gonna get rid of the volume. I want you to understand. Demons do smile. They do smile. I'm gonna have to do a lecture on demons one day. It's deep. You got to understand exactly what you're looking at. You got to understand exactly what our government let up in here. Look at this. They have a personality, people. Look. That's not natural. It's not natural. Did you see that change that quick? Come Come on, baby. Look, people, I had to stop doing the research. It floored me. There's a spirit in the land. There is a spirit in the land, people. This Biden administration let the devil in. This is unbelievable. You talk about a war. Do you know what that spirit would do to a country?
So many people crowded in here.
We have been witnessing the escalation in violence on the street and in the community for months now.
We've been pleading with the mayor, as we've seen increased violence, that this was going to be inevitable.
Authorities say he allegedly tried to steal with a group of other migrants while he was arrested. The search is on at this hour for 3 others who were a part of that group. Authorities say the group removed some of the store merchandise and tried to hide it in a bag. When they were confronted by a loss prevention officer, they started to fight.
Anyone with $10,000 or more in credit card debt?
This is what's going on in our cities, people.
So store owners fear their businesses will not survive because of...
Store owners fears business won't survive rampant shoplifting that has occurred since start of migrant crisis. And this is another aspect of the problem. People are not coming down shopping in different big cities anymore, at least as in abundance. We've got to use more of our tax dollars to get police and security, which means the price of goods and services will go up just to maintain order, because the police are not doing what they need to do in New York and Chicago because of the policies that have been put in place, or they're just overworked and they got so much to deal with, or this so-called hidden stand back policy, whatever you want to coin it. It's disorder. This is what we're facing, people. I want you to check this report out. Migrants in jail.
We have a Fox News exclusive investigation that's revealing shocking new details into criminal migrant activity in Texas. Brooke Taylor, she's there in Dallas with these troubling statistics. Brooke, what do you have?
Dana, I filed an open records request because I wanted to know how many inmates with ICE detainers accused of the most violent of crimes are being housed in our jails here in Texas. This is what we found in Harris County in Houston, where the VP was just campaigning. There's more than 9,000 inmates in the Harris County jail. Roughly 1,000 inmates have ICE holds. That is 1 in every inmate. Here are the mugshots of some of the most violent suspects with ICE detainers. Through our open records request, as of September, we identified ICE detainers lodged for 75 murder cases, of which 22 are capital murder cases. That includes the 2 illegal migrants from Venezuela charged with murdering 12-year-old Jocelyn Nongaray, whose mother has been vocal about blaming the Biden.
When you let a loosely knit entity, illegal entity, into a civil society, and they are free, does this, and I want to answer in the comment section, is this aiding and abetting a criminal? You guys probably heard that legal term back in the day. What is aiding and abetting? Aiding and abetting is a crime that occurs when someone helps another person commit a crime, even if they weren't directly involved. It's also known as accomplice liberty. Joe Biden, law enforcement, the DA, governors, mayors. Do you think that they're aiding and abetting by not enforcing and protecting Americans. It's one thing to bring them over illegal. It's another thing to have policies in place where they're getting right out. And then they go right back to the hotel or the residence where they came. So imagine them stealing, getting caught, going through the system and let right back out. How come they're not deported? There's no more argument here, people. There's no stipulation obligation. There's no checks and balances. Just let them out or you're just too busy to deal with it. Aiding and abetting. I'm not sure if any of you all had learned this. I learned this when I was in high school. Aiding and abetting a criminal. Is that what our government is doing? It's got to be asked. They know one way. They don't come from civilized countries, a lot of them. They don't come from civilized settings. And they don't have jobs. What do you expect them to do? So the goal has got to be, let them in so they can cause chaos. There's no way you can convince me otherwise. 1 and 1 make 2 all day. They're reaping havoc. And they know at some point Americans are going to start fighting back. You're going to have social disorder. That's what they want. You know they got the sleeper cells out here. So when the thing pop off, it's going to make it look like we the bad guy. They're going to lock us all down. But these are the people that are being utilized to crack our social system. And, you know, like I said, Trump ain't all that in the bag of chips. But this hell that Biden and brought, come on, man, it's not even workable. Who does this? Walking around on a campaign talking about joy. This ain't joy, this is hell. Satan is in our government. Look, let me go to the next one. Well, they've actually taken over Tennessee, the big cities. They gutted them out a few years ago to a reasonable point, and now they got to gut them out again. How much tax money has been spent when it could have been taking care of the elderly and the veterans and people who need it? We're spending money on crap.
Because of the porous border, this gang has exploited it, and they are actively working throughout our country. And we know, because of our investigations, they are actively working in Tennessee. They are in our 4 major cities, Nashville, Memphis, Knoxville, and Chattanooga, and they are running human trafficking operations right now. We first noticed them about 2 years ago during a trafficking operation in Middle Tennessee. And we thought, after we had captured a few of them, we knew some of them had fled. We thought that they would move out of Tennessee, but they have moved back. And we are aware now, after some meetings this past month, we're aware that they are moving into different operations. They go from human trafficking to organized retail crime theft. And then they move into the drug trade, taking on the cartels in a very violent, bloody battles that they've had. And they also have zero respect for policing. They have attacked law enforcement officers throughout our nation.
So, are you hearing this? No respect for law and order, and they brought their crime wave from over wherever they're from. And you gotta stop getting off your psychological, I have a dream, everybody gonna get along. Everybody's not gonna get along. They don't come with the intent to get along. And the whole thing got to be gutted out. It might sound inhumane what I'm saying. What I'm saying is this. If a flood comes in, or a tornado or a hurricane, you get back up in your house and you're crying because you're seeing all of your photographs, everything that, and you just throw your hands up and say, you know what? I'm going to grab a few photographs, my insurance papers. I can't salvage it. Destroy it. That's where we're at, people. You keep immigration in place like we had it way before Biden got up in there. But everybody else, they got to go. They have got to go. They have got to go. I'm not going to argue about it. You're not going to sit here and tell me this thing is not a spirit. You're not going to tell me this is not a spirit walking up in this individual. You're not going to tell me that.
¿Sí o no? Amigo, ¿puedes contestar algunas preguntas? Queremos saber la verdad.
Sorry, bro. I don't know speak in English, bro.
Oh, yo hablo español.
¿Tú hablas español?
Sí, obvio.
Yo no hablo español tampoco.
Okay, I speak English. So, is it true that gangs are inside of the Roosevelt Hotel? ¿Es la verdad que bandilleros están adentro?
I don't speak in English, bro.
Okay, ¿es la verdad que bandilleros viven adentro de Roosevelt? Or no?
You are not going to tell me that's a spirit. You're not going to tell me that's not a spirit. Look at that.
Or no? Oh, okay.
We are in a world of trouble. I feel it. That's how bad it is. Satan let his spirits in. They want a host and they want a territory. And they're going to do what they got to do. I don't like this generation. I hate this generation. Sometimes I wish I wasn't even here. But we are seeing a network of evil. And there is a spirit in the land. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you better read your Bible. You better go to a Holy Ghost revival and talk to a minister so they can break this thing down to you. My name is Friendshot Pearson. I have another channel. It's called Friendshot's Gift. Please go to it. Listen to the videos. I'm going to be adding videos every day now. I have over the 1,000 subscribers. Please subscribe. I'll put it I'll put a link in my description here with this video. But people, tell me how you really feel about this. We can't operate even economically based on this, because at some point we're going to implode. God bless you. If you can help the channel in any way, I have Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal. Also a P.O. Box. God bless you. Am I worried? Faith is one thing. This is reality. God got it, but we got to work it out. We got to work it out. We have people in government who, in my humble opinion, were sent to destroy our cities and have us implode because they want America to go into the one world system. That's what they want. And they're utilizing the illegals as part of this plan. It's a tool. Aiding and abetting. Allegedly, that's what they're doing. God bless.